I had a blast with your film. So I guess I want to start with, I like throwing out like usually a curveball, but with this, I sort of wanted to say, what does it mean to all of you guys? Because all the reviews on this movie have been so positive, and you really never know when you make a movie what the reaction is going to be. So what does it mean to all three of you to have such positive reviews?
Yes, I mean, obviously it feels wonderful that all the reviews are so positive, so for me the best part of that is that it's really a thank for the great work that our whole crew and all the actors have done. So I'm very happy about that, and I'm very happy that the reviews have really mentioned almost all the elements of the film and the cinematography and set designing and the actors, and I'm very happy about that. So it's really a kind of award for the great work we have done, and I hope also that now it helps many people to go and see the film, because as a filmmaker, that's what you want to people to see the film.
We're so surprised, and we're so happy that it got this response. And for myself, I'm not a huge fan of horror. I haven't seen or done any horror before, so I had no idea what to expect. What the audience was gonna think about a project like this. So yeah, it's amazing that it got these reviews.
Hanna, I hate asking the generic question, but most people watching this interview will not have seen the film yet. So how have you been describing it to people?
Well, it's a kind of a horror drama. So it's a horror film with a dramatic story, and it's about a girl who hatches a creature out of an egg. And this girl has very demanding mother, and she feels that she can't really be accepted fully as she is, and she finds an egg and starts hatching it, while she also hatches her own emotions and something.
That's a good description. So I read, and I could be wrong about this, but I read that you filmed this a while ago, and then IFC bought it, and you've sort of been waiting for it to come out. So what has it been like actually waiting for it to come out the last 2 years, if you will, knowing you had made something cool?
Well, it has been really kind of the 1 year it has been completed, and we've been just waiting because of the COVID. So yeah, we've been waiting, and there has been moments that no, we can really release the film. Oh no, everything gets closed again. Oh no, not yet. So yes, it has been a long wait, and kind of feeling that will we ever get it to cinemas? Will people ever see it? But now I'm super happy, because Sundance was really our kind of priority number one, the festival that we really hoped to get the film in, and so this is kind of like reaching the goal.
One of the things that I really enjoyed about this film, one of the many things, is that I've never really seen a movie like this. It's a very original coming of age film. Can you sort of talk about how it's really unlike things that you have seen?
Yes, it all started from our screenwriter's idea, and he contacted me and said that he has this one sentence idea that a boy hatches a doppelganger out of an egg, and that is all he knows so far. And I said that is cool, but let's change the lead character into a girl. And also the reason why I got interested in just this one sentence was that I also felt that, okay, this is a story I haven't seen before, and this could be really cool. And so we started to develop all the themes from this one sentence, that, okay, if somebody's hatching something, it means that she's hiding maybe some elements of her character. And okay, there is a theme of motherhood, there's a theme of growing up. And so everything came from this one sentence. And then I really wanted to create this world that shows the experience of this lead character, the girl. And the girl's mother is a blogger. She is kind of an influencer and shooting videos of her family for the whole world to see, and she's really portraying her ideal of a perfect life. So I wanted to really show this mother's universe, and everything is like lovely pastel colors and a lot of roses and always kind of quite bright light. Even the night is kind of a Nordic light night, so there are no dark shadows because there are no dark secrets, or so you would think that there are no.
Siiri, this is for you. This was your first movie, your first acting role. What do you wish you knew on the first day of filming that you now know?
No, ehkä mä vaan silloin mietin liikaa, että mitä niin kuin muut ajattelee siitä, että mitä mä teen siellä. Niin, siis mä olin siellä vähän aikaa ollut pari päivää. Mä aluksi jännitin tosi paljon, mutta sitten mä olin pari päivää siellä ollut. Niin mä totuin siihen, että kaikki on siinä ympärillä katsomaan. Kaikki on niin tottuneet siellä ja ammattilaiset ovat ihan rauhassa.
Yeah. Well, she said that at first, on the first day, she was thinking that about every people on the set, and she was kind of very aware that they are all looking at her, and she was very nervous. And then after a couple of days, she got used to it and understood that she can just relax, and everybody on set is professionals and doing their work, and they are used to actors, so to speak. And so then she could really relax and just concentrate on the part.
Hanna, this film does not work unless you find the right person to inhabit the role. I mean, and I'm just curious, I read, I could be wrong, that you saw 1,200 girls for this role. And I'm just curious, what was it about Siiri that said, oh, this is the person, this is for, I want her?
Yeah. So we really, because I mean, everything in this film depends on this lead character, who was double lead character in this film. And I, to be honest, I've never seen so demanding role for a 12-year-old child in any film before. And yeah, so that's why we auditioned 1,200 girls. And Siiri sent them self-tape at first. And so I wrote comments for every self-tape. And I wrote yes if I want that person to come to the audition. And now I checked my old comments and I wrote kind of big yes to her. It was really about her just being so natural in front of the camera. And then there was a thing that she had to do was to kind of imagine that she's very angry and just scream on top of her lungs, and she really screamed. And then after kind of screaming, she started to kind of just stayed on and watched the camera lens like that, and I was like, wow, she's so good.
For Siiri and for Sophia, what was it like actually reading the script for the first time and seeing what this film was going to ask of you and what it was about?
Well, when I first heard about the movie, I've told Hanna this. I honestly thought it was some sort of joke or maybe like a student project or something, because I'd never seen anything like this, and so I was very skeptical when I read the script. But then I did, and I was so amazed that you could combine horror with really heavy themes. Like they did in this movie, and so I was just super relieved and amazed, really impressed.
Mä vaan ajattelen, että tämä on oikeasti tosi pelottava, koska mua niin oikeasti lukea pelkästään sitä käsikirjoitusta, niin vaan tosi.
Yeah, she was just thinking while she was reading the script that she saw that it's very good script and very kind of scary, and she was already and that was kind of good thing, she thought, and she was already scared when she read the script.
One of the things that I found really cool about the movie, again, one of the many things, Sophia, your character is more obsessed with social media than your soon-to-be teenage daughter. And I think that the film does a really good job talking about social media without, hitting you over the head. Can you sort of talk about the social media aspect of your character?
Yeah, well, another thing that hit me when I read the script for the first time was like, has someone told me what kind of mother I am? Because there were, even though I don't identify myself with her, 100%. I could find these qualities that I could relate to, which is really sad to say, but I'm very active on social media, and sometimes maybe spend too little time in the weekend with my kids because I'm, on social media, and I really hate that. So yeah, it's totally relatable, I think, and all over the world. It's just not just a Finnish thing. I think everyone can relate to that. And I've been going over it in my head. I think parents, I mean, obviously this mother, it's we've taken it up a notch, but I think parents of all time have always had somewhere to escape, either a magazine or a book or whatever, and social media is just our way to flee into another reality for a while. I'm the mother of 3, so yeah, I really relate to her in one way, and at the same time, I hope I'm not that horrible in real life.
Hanna, can you sort of talk about why you wanted to sort of add social media? And it's sort of like a commentary that you've added to the film, which I really appreciated.
Yeah, the social media aspect wasn't in our kind of first script version, but the whole theme was about these people who are trying to keep up appearance in one way of them being perfect, happy family. And then I started to think that what is today's way of kind of showing to everybody that we are happy, everything's fine in our family, and that is really social media. So then I really wanted to get this social media theme into this film, and then with that, I think every scene really started to come alive, because it is really today's way of kind of keeping up the front.
Well, absolutely. One of the things is this creature that you have in the movie, it needs to work. You need to believe in it, or else this whole thing falls apart. So Hanna, can you sort of talk about how you wanted to design the creature and what you were looking for to depict on film?
Yes, that was super important, because if the creature doesn't work, the whole film doesn't work. So, and from the very early on, I didn't want it to be a CG character, because I wanted it to have real physical presence. So I thought that when it's in the most, when it first hatches, I wanted it to be an animatronic puppet, kind of like E.T. and some Star Wars creatures have been, meaning that it's a puppet that's facial expressions move with remote control. So I knew that I needed the best possible person to create this puppet. So I Googled best animatronic designer in the world. And Google told me that, okay, that is Gustav Högen, who has been the lead animatronic designer in Star Wars films and Jurassic World and Prometheus and so on. And I thought that, well, he's pretty good. And then I contacted him, and he had just finished the last Star Wars films, and he got excited about the story and wanted to come on board. And his fantastic team built this puppet that we had designed in Finland with 2 wonderful concept artists, Petteri Mäkinen and Emilia Lindholm. So yeah, and then we had this amazing 5 puppeteers. So at the shootings, there were 5 people moving the puppet with the rods, and they were all super pros. They have been working in all Star Wars films, and there was Gustav Högen moving the facial expressions with the remote control. So there was a lot going on at the shootings, and I'm super happy with the result. And the puppeteers really made the puppet act so well, and that is how it became so kind of alive and relatable, I think.
I find it so fascinating that you were able to, sometimes people say the internet's bad, but I find it fascinating that you basically Googled best animatronic person, and you're like, yeah, let's just hire, you know what I mean? Like, it connects the world.
Yeah.
That's amazing, actually. What was it? Listen, you guys obviously made this on a budget, and you had I'm sure, this was not a Marvel movie. And I'm just curious, what ended up being the toughest stuff to pull off with the time and the budget that you had? And this applies to everybody.
Well, I think in the end, of course, all these special effects and everything, that is, of course, is the biggest thing. But maybe in the end, in every filmmaking, the most important thing is the time in the shooting. So we had more time. Well, we had about 40 shooting days, which is more than in usual Finnish films, because we make films in a very little budget. And but still, because we had all these special effects, and in some days Siiri had this special effect makeup that took like 4 hours to put on and take off. So we had like 4 hours time to shoot her. She's basically in every shot. So I think always in the filmmaking, the most important thing is the time in the shootings and the time with the actors, and that is always too little, no matter what you do.
And Siiri and Sophia, did you guys feel any sort of pressure because you're trying to do so much in a short period of time, or was it a very relaxing shoot?
I must say it felt really luxurious. This was a very big budget for a Finnish film, the most expensive movie ever directed by a woman in Finland, actually. So yeah, I really felt we had a lot of shooting days compared to what we usually have. And we had time to rehearse. We had time to get to know each other, Siiri and me, which is amazing. That never happens in Finland. Well, very seldom. So I was very happy. The only thing that bugged me was the last day, where there was a lot to be shot. And we shot the last scene the last day. And I would have liked two more shots of that. But, that's the only thing and Hanna kept them, even though I knew we were in a hurry, Hanna kept a really peaceful atmosphere, and yeah, it was very nice to work with it. Yeah.
Siiri, I have to ask you, there are some shots where you are in some pretty cool makeup. Did you ever beg to leave set and go to like a supermarket wearing that makeup?
No, siinä yhdessä kohtaa mä meninkin sinne kadulle kävelen sen maskin.
Menit vai?
Joo, siinä vaiheessa, kun tehtiin ekan kerran, niin menin siihen tauolle sen kanssa sinne.
Näkis kukaan sen?
No, en mä tiedä, ehkä yritin vähän katsoa.
Okay. She said at one point, I didn't know that. She said at one point at the one shooting day, she actually she had a break, so she went and walked on the street with that face. And she said that maybe somebody saw her. I wondered a bit, but
I always, if I talk to a lot of actors. And I talk to a lot of people, and often they're in extreme costumes or extreme makeup. And if I ever did that, I would absolutely go to the Starbucks and walk around and freak people out like it's Halloween. I love talking about the editing process, because that's where the movie comes together. So Hanna, could you sort of talk about when you got in the editing room, were you at first ready to jump through a window, or were you like, oh, we have it?
Yeah, that is a good question. Well, I always like in the editing that the editor, we had a wonderful Swedish editor, Linda Gildmalm. So I always like that the editor first does her own version. So we have first talked about the film and the scenes, and then she just does her version. So it gives me kind of a new start in a way, so that I can just watch the material like, okay, this is what we have. And the first version was very long. It was like 2 hours long, because everything was kind of there. But like you said, usually there is this feeling of, oh my God, I'm gonna die, nothing works. But in this case, no, I already feel that, yeah, it will be a good movie. There's a lot of work to be done, but it's, I was already quite happy about it. And then it was really just finding the right rhythm, and some couple of scenes, or one big scene we actually cut out of the film in the editing process. And because that film was more focused on the father and son, and that was something we realized with the editor Linda, that in the editing that we really need to focus even more on the story of mother and daughter, because that's how that's what makes the film work.
Without going into any spoilers, the third act has some stuff that must have been hard to film. And I'm just curious, what was it like on set filming some of those sequences?
Yes, that was that required a huge planning, and every shot was kind of scheduled and planned beforehand, because there was a Siiri playing kind of two roles, and there was body doubles, and there was blood all over, and all these continuity issues, and different kind of knives, and some VFX shots. We had wonderful VFX company, U-Media, and so there was kind of a lot going on, and all the special effect makeup. We had wonderful special effect makeup designer Connor Sullivan. He's 2-time Oscar nominated on Saving Private Ryan and The Dark Knight, and his wonderful team created this special effect makeup. So yes, there was a lot going on. That was really, I'm very glad to hear that there was relaxed atmosphere, because in my mind I was kind of like, I'm counting the minute and oh my God, will we get it done? And we have only this day time to shoot with this huge makeup, and so yes, but we got it done.
Sophia and Siiri, can you sort of talk about, though, filming with the makeup and that stuff in the third act? And did you enjoy filming that stuff? You know, or I'm just curious if you enjoyed, especially Siiri, with some of that makeup. Did you enjoy filming with that kind of stuff?
Oli mun mielestä loppukohtauksessa oli yksi parhaimpia.
Yeah, she said the final scenes she thought were the most fun, and also the best scenes in the film. So she thinks, and the big, actually in the very end, otherwise we had mostly just practical effects, but in the very end there's a big thing in her head. So that was a complete CG look.
Yeah, that bit was definitely the most technical bit, and the least scary bit to film, because as Hanna said, there was so much done afterwards. So it was definitely a lot of fun, and some stunts also in there. So yeah, I really enjoyed them.
Hanna, can you talk a little bit about the production design and how you decided on the way the house was going to look? And also the fact that there's like no newspapers, there's no outside world. You're sort of isolated, if you will, with it's an isolating kind of a thing.
Yes, that was something I really wanted to reach with this film, this kind of world that it's not totally fairy tale. It's not like Tim Burton type of film, and it's kind of reality, but there's something off. So I really wanted to find this uncanny valley, I think is the word, kind of this fine line between fairy tale and reality, and to kind of make people unease a bit. And so we talked with a production designer, Päivi Kettunen, that first of all I talked about these pastel colors that I want to have in this film, and also that she asked that, do you think that there are some newspapers, like you said, in this world? And I said that no newspapers, no logos, nothing can relate to some particular era or country. So really, we took out every possible logo, every possible text, every newspaper, and even there's a pet shop. So we made all these pet shop foods so that they are just for this film, and for example, then there are all these kind of details that you never see other people in the street, and there's a hospital, so there's nobody at the hospital. So it's because I really wanted to tell about Tinja's life, that in her life there's nothing else except what mother wants her to do, and the house, and then the gymnast. And even in the gymnast hall, we don't really see that much the other girls, we just hear them laughing. That was a wonderful idea from our sound designer Carl Svensson, that what we hear is the laughter of other girls, so they are kind of having fun. For them it's a kind of fun hobby, and for Tinja it's just concentrating on the kind of doing the tricks and succeeding.
Sundance interviews are interesting because I love talking about the movie, but I can't really get into the specifics because you don't want to ruin it for the people that haven't watched it yet. It's like a tricky kind of interview, if that makes any sense. Yeah. You know, my last question for you guys, I love learning about the behind the scenes of the making of a movie. So for all three of you, what is something that you think people would be surprised to learn about the making of the movie? Or what's like a fun day on set that you'd like to share?
I can say one thing that is nice. Well, of course, it was cool to shoot with this animatronic puppet, and also another kind of fun thing was to shoot with the real bird, because in the beginning of the film there's a bird flying in the living room, and that was actually a real bird. But the bird has lived all its life in a cage, so it didn't really like to fly. So the animal owner kind of always tossed it, so it kind of flew a little bit. No birds were harmed, but so it was really kind of the animal owner tossing it around, and it just flying a little bit, and then it started to run away, and the animal owner chased it. That was a lot going on that day in the shooting, but it was a lot of fun, and the bird was super cute.
There were a lot of fun things. There was one scene, without giving anything away, I'm in the car and there's a bit of blood involved. So we needed to squirt some blood into my nose, but I also had a line. And what we didn't realize is when you squirt a lot of blood into your nose, it goes to your throat. So, and we had like 2 shots because I had this dress and we couldn't mess it up too much because I only could change once. So yeah, I had this blood coming out of every hole in my face, but I wasn't able to speak at all. So well, it ended up pretty good, that shot anyway. But it was fun because it was just so messy, and we couldn't really rehearse it beforehand.
That shot turns out well.
Good.
Yeah. Siiri, do you have anything?
Ehkä se, kun siellä oli se autokohtaus, missä mun piti ekan kerran koko tämän elokuvan aikana itkeä. Ja sitten oli sitä mentolia, niin sitten mä mietin vaan, että kyllä mä nyt kun siinä matkalla, kun me ajettiin sinne kuvauspaikalle, mä vaan mietin, mä yritin miettiä kaikkea, että mä haluan tehdä tämän itse, mä en halua, että sitä laitetaan mun silmiin. Ja sitten se niin kuin ihan just ennen kuin sitä alettiin kuvaamaan, että olitte jo tuomassa sitä mulle, niin sitten että nyt mä saan tämän, että mä sain sen.
Siitä saisit selkeänä itkeen. Yeah, so that was because she had never acted before anywhere before this film, and so in the film we had the first scene where she had to, we were shooting in a car, she had to cry, and so we were about to give her some this mental, drops that you put in the eyes to get the tears come out, and then she was just thinking that no, I want to do this real, but how do I do it? And then it was just that we were just about to put the drops in her eyes, and then she said that no, stop, no, I can do it for real. And then she just concentrated and started to cry, and after that it was really, because she has to cry in many scenes, so it was, for me it was basically just that, okay Siiri, and now you cry again, and then she was just okay, I take a minute, okay, now I'm ready, and then she just started to cry, and that was amazing.
I definitely could not do that, and I say congratulations for being able to pull that off. I'm going to stop here and just say sincerely congratulations on this movie. I'm very happy for you guys, and I'm very happy for the positive reviews, and I wish you guys nothing but the best, and thank you for talking with me about the film.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.